ट्रेंड रिजम्पशन ऑन दी डाउन साइड। तो मार्केट में लास्ट हफ्ता जो था वो एक अनचेंज कंसोलिडेशन का था, बट इस हफ्ते दोबारा से जो बेयर्स थे, जो कि मंदेड़ी जिनको बोला जाता है, वो दोबारा से हावी हुए मार्केट में, करीब 2.5% के कट बोथ निफ्टी और सेंसेक्स में। सेक्टर पे जैसा आप देख ही पा रहे हैं कि कोई भी सेक्टर आपको गेनर साइड पे नजर नहीं आ रहा है। जितने भी की सेक्टर्स हैं वहां पे रियलिटी, मीडिया, एनर्जी, फाइनेंशियल्स, ऑटो, इन सभी में काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग कट, खासतौर से रियलिटी इंडेक्स 11% के कट के साथ बंद हुआ। राइट, सो रियलिटी वॉज down and out completely during this week. Coming to the top 5 gainers, losers: Dr. Reddy, HUL, Techem, Hindalco, Kotak Bank. So a mixed trend. So Dr. Reddy post numbers witnessed a decent rebound. So that's the reason why we are seeing strong gains, roughly around 5.5%. Other ended with the modest gains. But on the losing side, you can see the cuts are much sharper. Adani Enterprise almost 14%, Wipro 11%, Eternal 10%, Geo, Adani Port. So two names from the Adani group of stocks were among the top losers during the week. तो इस हफ्ते में जैसे कि स्क्रीन ही बता रही है ये कि क्या हुआ है मार्केट में, तो आउटराइटली बेयर्स, जिनको बेचना पसंद है, वो हावी रहे मार्केट में। और सेक्टोरल फ्रंट पे तो कोई गेनर रहा ही नहीं। स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक केवल डॉक्टर रेड्डीज है जो निफ्टी 50 बास्केट में, जहां पे थोड़े से डिसेंट गेन्स रहे। बाकी मॉडेस्ट गेन के साथ हमने देखा कि करीब 1.5-2% के भी गेन, और वो आप टॉप 5 गेनर्स में देख रहे हैं निफ्टी 50 के पूरे वीक के। राइट, वहीं पे जब लूजिंग साइड पे हम आते हैं तो काफी शार्प कट देखने को मिल रहे हैं। मीन 7.5% लोएस्ट जो आपका अदानी पोर्ट्स में, करीब करीब 14% तक के कट गए आपके अदानी इंटरप्राइज में। तो वेरी शार्प डिक्लाइन across the board is what market observed. Now, this was the picture for the week. Now, how we are positioned for the next week in Nifty and Banking Index. So first we'll talk about Nifty. So this is a weekly graph. Intentionally, I'm using this because last time we were discussing about the 200 EMA mark. So it reflects much clearly on the daily chart. But here the importance of support, why we are portraying this channel is very critical, because most of you must be wondering how they should position themselves after this decline. Especially the long-term moving average, 200 days of exponential moving average, which talks about the long-term trend, that has been compromised this week. We have slipped below that mark. We have closed below this mark of 25,150. So this next move is going to be critical for the market. So it's not mandatory that the moment we break long-term averages, market is set for a panic. But yes, a cautious stance definitely is warranted. But what we are seeing on charts is something that first we'll see and observe, and then accordingly one should take an informed decision. So this is how the weekly graph is showing the picture of Nifty. So as you can see that this trend line, this below in the channel, we've joined this last 2 points, and in the previous scenario, it was here tested for the third time, a brief penetration in the following weeks, but eventually it managed to hold. And again, we are inching towards this same support of this rising trend line in the channel, right? And where this zone exists around 24,750 to 24,900 zone. So that's the critical support that we have. In case if we fail, then probably this previous swing low close to 24,600, 300, that might be the possibility. But as of now, this 24,752 900 zone, this trend line support is basically something that we are keeping a close watch on, right? Upside, in case if we see a bounce. So earlier, which was acting as a support, would turn as a resistance. So 25, 300, 400 zone, the first area of resistance. Then 600, 700 zone, where the short-term average 20 days of exponential moving average is placed. That will be the major hurdle for the markets, right? तो देखिए ये आपका जो निफ्टी का डिक्लाइन है पिछले 3 वीक में, तो मतलब 3 वीक में क्या हुआ कि आप रिकॉर्ड हाई से एक ठीक ठाक करेक्टिव करीब ऑलमोस्ट आप देखिए यहाँ पे अब 26,400 के पास पहुंच गए थे। अब आप ये 25,000 के जोन को टेस्ट कर रहे हैं, तो ठीक ठाक सी 1,500 पॉइंट की करेक्शन ऑलरेडी हो चुकी है। ये जो रेड लाइन जो आप देख पा रहे हैं स्क्रीन पे, राइट, इसकी इंपॉर्टेंस काफी ज्यादा है, बिकॉज लास्ट 2 इंस्टेंस में इसको रिस्पेक्ट किया है इसने, तो इस बार करता है नहीं करता है, एटलीस्ट एक बार रिस्पेक्ट जरूर करेगा, ये उम्मीद है। जैसे कि 24,900 से लास्ट टाइम भी अभी हमने देखा था एक बाउंस आते हुए। तो नेक्स्ट वीक ये इंपॉर्टेंट रहेगा कि इस लेवल को हम डिफेंड करते हैं कि नहीं करते हैं, जो कि 24,750 से 900 के बीच में कुछ एक लेवल आएगा ये ट्रेंड लाइन का, वो पहला रहेगा। वो अगर ब्रेक हो गया तो फिर करीब प्रीवियस स्विंग लो का आपका 24,600 300 का जोन वो फिर खुल जाएगा। तो अभी के लिए बेसिकली ये एरिया आपको ध्यान रखना है कि 24,900 750 ये एक इमीडिएट सपोर्ट है। रिकवरी के केस में बहुत दिक्कतें आएंगी, मींस पहले तो आपका 200 डे के 25,150 जो है कि किस तरीके से हम मंडे ट्यूसडे को खोलते हैं, क्योंकि मंडे को मार्केट बंद है, तो वो एक फैक्टर रहेगा कि ओवर द वीकेंड किस तरीके से ग्लोबल चीजें पैन आउट होती हैं, उसका रिएक्शन देखने को मिलेगा। वो क्रॉस कर देते हैं तो फिर आपका 25,300 400 का हर्डल और फिर 700 का हर्डल, तो ऊपर के साइड पे डेफिनेटली निफ्टी को दिक्कत ज्यादा होगी जाने में। तो अभी के लिए जब तक कि आप ये ट्रेंड लाइन टेस्ट नहीं कर देते हैं, सेल ऑन राइज, जस्ट इन केस अगर बाउंस आता है तो शॉर्टिंग अपॉर्चुनिटी ज्यादा बेटर प्रोस्पेक्ट्स रहेंगे। This is about Nifty. Now let's talk about the key sector which giving us the confidence till last week that yeah, the pace of decline is going to be gradual as long as maintain the previous swing low. So we are talking about banking index here. So in line with Nifty, for banking index also we have chosen this weekly chart, not the daily one, just to show you this trend line. So see this trend line, especially when the trend initially takes a beating, act as a very crucial support. So when, as long as we are seeing momentum, market manage to hold above the short-term averages, and there's no point using trend line in that case because usually it's very stream, right? But the moment we surrendered those key level, possibility of the next support comes with these trend lines. So what it indicates is that we are retesting the 20 EMA mark on weekly chart and this lower band of this trend line also for the third time around the current levels. 58,700 for those who are regular to this webinar can easily recall that 58,700 was the level that we were mentioning. This week we breached that mark, this zone, right, which banking index was holding for long, this area. So that's the reason why we are seeing this pressure in market, right? Because banking, which was the strongest sector and one of the most important sector, considering the weightage in the index, has also witnessed a decline. Here, 58,100, that will be the first and important support. In case if we fail, then 57,200, closer to this area, right? That will be the zone to watch out for. So banking की परफॉर्मेंस काफी हद तक डिक्टेट करेगी, क्योंकि अब यहाँ पे जो आउट परफॉर्मेंस देख रहे थे वो अब थोड़ी सबसाइड हो गई है। तो अगर इसने 58,000 के लेवल को ब्रेक किया, 58,000 58,100 के, तो फिर मान के चलिए कि मार्केट में जब प्रेशर रहेगा नेक्स्ट लेग का, वो बैंकिंग लेड हो सकता है। राइट, अभी तक सिचुएशन खराब नहीं हुई है, नो डाउट। जो मोमेंटम था वो फेड आउट हो चुका है, जो 58,700 को हम होल्ड कर रहे थे वो फेड आउट हो गया है, बट जो प्रेशर है वो अभी तक आया नहीं है बैंकिंग की वजह से एटलीस्ट। In case if we see a bounce 59,400, that will be the first area of resistance, and then 60,000 mark. So around 59,400, we might see that index again facing selling pressure in case of any bounce. So those who are stuck in the long position, especially in the banking counters, they may consider reducing their position on bounce, considering the texture. If the trend confirms, means the trend line holds and we see a very strong recovery next week, they may consider re-entering, but not at the current levels. तो देखिए बैंकिंग इंडेक्स लास्ट वीक तक जो कुछ एक सेक्टर जिनकी हम बात करते आ रहे थे अपना प्रेजेंटेशन में, बैंकिंग, मेटल, ऑटो, बैंकिंग में पीएसयू बैंक खासतौर से जहां पे की ज्यादा आपका तेजी था, बैंकिंग ने इस वीक प्रेशर दिखा के उस चीज को थोड़ा सा सबसाइड कर दिया, खासतौर से प्राइवेट बैंकिंग की वजह से। पीएसयू तब भी थोड़ा ठीक ठाक रहे, वहां पे मिक्स ट्रेंड रहा, बिकॉज अर्निंग के हिसाब से हमने वोलेटिलिटी देखी। अब अगर 58,000 का लेवल ये कॉम्प्रोमाइज होता है बैंकिंग में, तो फिर मान के चलिए कि निफ्टी में जो नेक्स्ट लेग की हम बात कर रहे हैं 24,750, 900, और उसके बाद फिर 24,600 वाला जोन, तो वो फिर बैंकिंग की वजह से ही आएगा। राइट, फिर क्योंकि बैंकिंग में 57,200 तक के लेवल्स खुल जाएंगे। बैंकिंग में 58,000, 58,100 का जोन ये आपके लिए काफी इंपॉर्टेंट रहने वाला है नेक्स्ट वीक में। पीएसयू बैंक्स अभी भी कंपैरेटिवली बेटर हैं, बट लॉस मेकिंग पोजीशन को ज्यादा एवरेज ना करें। Now let's talk about stocks and sectors to focus on. So while we are seeing that index has surrendered its long-term moving average, not all the themes and sectors are aligned to this move yet. What it means, there are still pockets wherein we are seeing strength, and since we are in the run-up to the budget also, we expect certain pockets to hold even if the correction continues. But that doesn't mean that you outrightly go buy or double down your position in case if you have existing positions on the long side. But at least you should know certain pockets wherein we are seeing strength, and selectively, in case if the market offers, and in case if you are not very confident about shorting, then these are some of the sectors that one can be focusing on. Okay, तो देखिए ये पहला नाम that we have in the list, जिसका आपको फोकस में रखना चाहिए। FMCG as a basket has definitely underperformed the market big time. There's no doubt about it. If you exclude a couple of names like Britannia, Marico, majority of the counters have failed to, perform or show any kind of returns. But now, after retesting the crucial supports, not only the daily, weekly, and monthly charts, we are seeing early sign of stability, at least in some of these FMCG players. So Colgate Palmolive, the chart that you are seeing on your screen is not a daily, weekly, monthly chart. It's a quarterly chart. ये 3 महीने की एक कैंडल, 3 महीने, ये जो आप एक ग्रीन देख रहे हैं, ये 3 महीना है पूरा उसका। ये 3 महीने में क्या किया, ये रेड जो है इसके पूरे 3 महीने में क्या किया। तो ये क्वार्टरली चार्ट है, काफी लंबा टाइम हो जाता है ये। राइट, जब से 94 से इसका डेटा अवेलेबल है तब से लेकर अभी तक का। Why I am showing this? Because इस ग्रीन लाइन को आप देख रहे हैं, राइट? दिस मूविंग एवरेज इज बिन होल्डिंग दिस एवरेज सिंस एजेस। कितने सालों से ये इस लेवल के, इस एवरेज के नीचे नहीं गया है, राइट? पास जरूर आया है, टेस्ट किया है, एक बार नीचे तक नहीं गया है। तो उसी एवरेज के पास अभी आपको कोलगेट ट्रेड करता हुआ दिख रहा है। क्या हिस्ट्री का जो वो ये रहा है कि ट्रेंड की ये काफी सालों से नहीं गया है तो नहीं जाएगा, कोई गारंटी नहीं है। बट यहाँ पे आपका रिस्क टू रिवॉर्ड काफी फेवरेबल बन जाता है, बिकॉज अगर कोई चीज बहुत सालों से लगातार हुई है तो एटलीस्ट प्रोबेबिलिटी बनेगी कि हाँ, यहाँ से एक उम्मीद बनेगी एक रिकवरी की कोलगेट में, राइट? ये आप जो इंडिकेटर देख रहे हैं इसको नाम भूल जाइए, जस्ट इसकी हाइज और लोस को आप देखिए। तो ये एक्सट्रीम है, जहां पे ये नीचे की साइड देख रहे हैं ना आप, ये जो रीडिंग्स हैं, जब भी ये एक्सट्रीम में आता है, एक्सट्रीम में काफी टाइम से आया नहीं है, जैसे यहाँ थोड़ा सा था तो फिर रेंज बाउंड हुआ, उसके बाद फिर ये ट्रेंड अनफोल्ड हुआ, राइट? तो जितनी बार भी गिरता है तो उतना ज्यादा नीचे आया ही नहीं है, ये ट्रेंड बना रहा। इस बार ये एक्सट्रीम में आ गया है, तो यहाँ से ये दोनों ही चीजें पॉइंट आउट कर रही हैं कि एक पॉसिबली कंसोलिडेशन हो सकता है, उसके बाद एक रिकवरी, right? The Colgate Palmolive from the FMCG basket is something that you can focus on, especially in the market like this, wherein we are not sure whether we are going to hold the key support areas or not, right? So defensives, especially from the FMCG basket, is something that one can consider accumulating if the view is positional. Next, Infosys. So apart from banking, the other sector which holds considerable weight is IT. We all know that. Though the market were down and out last week, IT performed comparatively well. Means majority of the counters, if you exclude some of these uh, mid cap names, largely the tone was positive, right? HCL Tech, consistently we have discussed during this presentation, HCL Tech जो कि preferred हमको लगता है based on the price action IT space में से है। Infosys के साइड से भी अच्छे साइन आ रहे हैं, because if you see that's been a very long period of consolidation, कुछ हुआ ही नहीं है Infosys में, right? ये ऑलमोस्ट 2022 से हम देख रहे हैं, तो उस टाइम पे 1750 1800 का लेवल जो था, उन्हीं लेवल के पास आप ट्रेड कर रहे हैं। काफी टाइम करेक्शन इसमें ऑलरेडी हो चुका है। अभी इसने क्या किया है, अपने जहां से लास्ट टाइम गिरा था उस लेवल को ब्रेक करके वहां पे सस्टेन कर रहा है। इट्स फॉर्मिंग अ फ्रेश बाइंग पिवट अबव इट्स प्रीवियस स्विंग हाई, so that gives us comfort that possibility of further extension towards its record high level is high in Infosys. It can gradually inch toward that area. So here, in line with market, wherein we are not uh, seeing any decisive sign of reversal yet, IT also offers you support or comfort wherein we see strength. So select FMCG, IT, metals, PSU banks. This is something where we see strength. Last on the list, it's not that everything is outrightly bullish. We have a long list of stocks which are trading under tremendous pressure or witnessing fresh breakdown. IEX is one such name. Though there were attempts, there were news around it that things are going to stabilize, but the price action is not reflecting the same. As you can see that post its initial breakout, it inched higher, and if we form a trend line, in the third attempt, it couldn't reach to the trend line area and plunge very sharply. After this very tight range of consolidation, जो इतने tight range में इसने trade किया, 135 37 का जोन और 150, इसी बैंड में इसने ट्रेड करते हुए काफी महीने निकाल दिए। उसका ब्रेकडाउन इस हफ्ते देखने को मिल गया है। तो इसका मतलब क्या है कि जो इसके अभी ये लोस थे उसको, और शायद उससे भी नीचे ही आपको ट्रेड करता हुआ आने वाले टाइम में दिख सकता है। IEX कैन बी द कैंडिडेट इन योर वॉच लिस्ट फॉर शॉर्टिंग ट्रेड, राइट। सो नेट नेट निफ्टी में, बैंकिंग इंडेक्स में, you should definitely maintain cautious stance with a bearish bias until we see some bit of stability or sign of reversal. Let's say Nifty manages to hold 25 150 decisively, banking crosses 59 500 and sustain। जब तक ये नहीं होता है कि आप 25 150 के ऊपर निफ्टी को 2 3 दिन तक सस्टेन करते हुए देखें, कुछ रिकवरी के साइन बनाते हुए देखे कि मींस डे लो पे खुला और डे हाई पे बंद हुआ, तो इस तरीके के जब तक कोई साइन नहीं होते हैं तो नेगेटिविटी मार्केट में बनी रहेगी। तो वो देखते हुए आपको स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक जहां पे की कम गिरावट की पॉसिबिलिटी है या फिर जब भी मार्केट में रिकवरी आएगी तो अच्छी स्ट्रेंथ आ सकती है, you should be focusing on that. So Colgate, Palmolive, Infosys wherein we see strength, IEX where we see weakness, right? So this is all from the presentation part. Now just a quick feedback poll and then we can start the Q&A. So can we have the poll please? So please fill in your feedback and then we can start with the Q&A. अपना ये पोल भर दीजिए, उसके बाद कोई भी सवाल है आपका, जो क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर का बटन है उसको आप क्लिक करिए, उसमें आप लिख कर पूछ सकते हैं। Those who are done with the feedback, they can start posting their questions. जिनका हो गया फीडबैक का वो अपना क्वेश्चन लिखना शुरू कर सकते हैं, पूछना। Okay, let's start now with the Q&A. We are almost done with the feedback. Okay. Okay, so first question, interesting question, not on equities, but on bullion, especially silver. Deepak has this question: what is the outlook for silver? Can we enter at 300? Uh, 300 means, I guess you mean to say 3 lakh, around 3 lakh levels. So though it's like equity webinar and we've discussed about Nifty, banking index sectors and all, but I understand that kind of traction that bullions are currently experiencing. I'm sure uh, you know you might have questions around the commodity market also. So just for the benefit of the larger audience, both gold and silver, they have done exceptionally well in the last 4 5 years due to multiple reasons. One is that the global banks are now focusing more on gold reserves instead of dollar. Inflation was the major concern, geopolitical, trade tension. All these factors have resulted in a very sharp surge in gold. For silver, it was more of industrial uses and the additionally the precious metal appeal that adds both, and plus the demand supply mismatch is also which is helping the move in silver at present. So when it comes to positioning, there are multiple ways, of course, through ETF. Okay, so you might be asking about the ETF, silver bees, I guess. I'm just assuming that because it's quoting around 297, 300, I guess. Yeah. So in my opinion, the kind of parabolic move that we have already seen in silver, there should be some bit of a consolidation or a pause, around the current area. It not necessary, but if that happens is going to be healthy, considering that it's very difficult to take a fresh position with after such a phenomenal surge, because you don't have any major base to look up to. So in case if you are planning any fresh investment in bullion through ETFs, go in staggered manner. Don't buy it with one go. थोड़ा सा अभी buy किया, and in case if it witnesses any dip consolidation, then you can consider more. So hope it answers your query. Okay, next, how markets may react to EU trade deal, which is expected next week. So it's likely to, uh, you know, act positively, but it's not necessary. Basically, when we have more of negatives, then there could be a initial reaction, but uh, considering that the geopolitical and earnings, which has not pulled out any major, uh, like uh, positive surprise to the market yet, that will remain in focus. So no doubt it's an important event, but I seriously feel that the focus will remain on more on stability on the geopolitical front and earnings. Okay, so Snehan has this question that I guess I'm assuming that this is the question ki कभी सिल्वर और गोल्ड नीचे आएंगे क्या, means see, obviously there is no asset class till 2023-24 we were seeing a similar kind of move in equities. Obviously the equity never see this kind of parabolic moves, but yes, uh, the kind of momentum that uh, silver and gold has experienced is definitely phenomenal. So now, instead of focusing on when, why, and what, only thing that we can do is to risk manage our risk. So after this strong move, the prudent approach is to wait and let these sectors stabilize a bit, and then enter through staggered manner instead of at one go, even if the view is long term. Yeah, so hope it answers your query. So Abhay, thank you for the feedback, and uh, see, IEX, we've talked about the structure pointing towards further negativity. So it could be a short-term phenomenon, or it might linger for a longer duration. Nobody knows. But the current structure definitely indicates short-term pain, right? So in case if you have a long-term investment, then obviously the rationale should be there that why you have invested, and still if you are holding, if the rationals are in place, definitely you can continue to stay put. But if those rationals uh, change, so definitely you should take a call accordingly. This is for more for shorter duration. So Rajeshji, you can just do one thing. This webinar is also available on YouTube. It's live on YouTube also. So you just, all you need to do is search Religare online YouTube channel, and you can see the complete webinar from the starting. Okay, मुकेश जी, again same, अगर आपने मिस कर दिया बैंक निफ्टी का, that we are at a very crucial juncture, 58,000 mark. It's a make or break area. वो अगर जाता है तो फिर प्रेशर और बढ़ने को मिलेगा. So the best thing that one can do is to reduce the position aggressively if the view is short term, and if you are uh, highly on the positive side, especially in the banking because they were outperforming, and keep a close watch on 58,000 mark. Yes. So, see, when Deepak has this question that last 3 days option prices are very volatile with the large swings. So, basically, the kind of uncertainty that we are seeing, the India VIX, which was quoting at 8 or 9, has climbed to 14, right? And at the same time, we are seeing due to the expiry, uh, this thing called gamma blast. So, those who understand Greeks, they can relate to that. So that's why we are seeing this volatile swing in the option markets, and it is likely to continue at least considering the kind of geopolitical scenario that we are in, and also the upcoming budget. Though usually, the volatility subside uh, the moment we approach, or at the same day, or uh, next by the next day. So, but yes, at least in the short term, expect this volatile scenario to continue. Okay. नेक्स्ट है आपके stock specific queries. We have multiple stock specific queries. Okay, so Santosh has this question on multiplex stocks. So see, PVR Inox, so we all know that even after phenomenal success of some of these recent releases, the stock failed to do much when it comes to the recovery, and again we are seeing pressure, so means we are inching towards the previous swing low. So around 900, 850 is the zone basically where we have the next support zone. So short term outlook definitely looks negative to us, so avoid any fresh position. In case if you have an existing position also, you may consider exiting because short term bias looks negative to us. Okay, so Baji has this question on Kalyan Jewelers. Shall we buy or sell at this stage? The answer is to avoid any fresh action, especially after this sharp decline. Means 21% this week we were down, right, with very strong volumes. So now possibility of bit of a consolidation is there, but the indications are in the favor of possible decline towards 330 levels also. So, but for fresh shorting, one should wait for any bounce or consolidation. Means, let's say in case if it sees any recovery toward 390, 400 zone, around that area, you may consider creating some short positions, right? Okay. Uh, Tawfiq Khan has this question: are FII currently net sellers? If yes, will they have any impact in the market? So FIIs have been selling since ages now, Tawfiq, because uh, there were like weeks or few days during the recent month where we saw some positive figures. Otherwise, they are outrightly selling in cash markets. Derivative market positioning is also negative. Uh, the weakness in rupee clearly shows the same. Means today we have touched $92 against the US dollar rupee. So that clearly shows that the pace of the outflow of money. So its impact is cushioned due to the domestic funds, the SIP flows, but it is there. Means you can easily see the kind of negativity that we are seeing in some of these heavyweights also. It's largely due to that. So we were hoping that at least with the earnings taking a positive turn from Q3 onwards, that might change the scenario, but it has not uh, like changed the way markets were anticipating, and at the same time there's geopolitical pressure also. So yes, it's negative sentimentally also. बीएससी के बारे में बताइए सर। बीएससी देखिए काफी स्ट्रांग है सुजीत जी अभी तक, और कुछ नेगेटिव नहीं दिख रहा है इसमें। मतलब बहुत कम स्टॉक्स हैं जो कि इस तरीके से अभी स्ट्रांगली होल्ड कर रहे हैं। बीएससी उनमें से एक नाम है। 2600, 2590 टू बी प्रिसाइज, ये एक इमीडिएट बेस है। मेजर करीब 2500 के पास है। जब तक ये लेवल्स होल्ड हो रहे हैं मेरे हिसाब से इसमें आपको स्टेबिलिटी दिखेगी। तेजी कब आएगी? जब 2950 के ऊपर ये ब्रेक करेगा, तब जाके शायद इसमें आपको तेजी देखने को मिले। राइट। So yeah, largely we have answered all the queries. So yes. So thank you everyone for joining in, asking questions. I hope this webinar is fruitful for you, and next week you are well prepared to take action as per the key views and levels that we've shared. Next week, same time, same place, we'll connect again and we'll discuss market, solve your queries. And till then, take care. Goodbye. Thank you.